everybody, it's Tatiana, and today I'm coming to do my video for the Kwanzaa Reflect-a-thon. If you're not familiar with what that is, it was created by Njeri over at Onyx Pages. I believe this is the third year for it. This is my second year participating, and this year, last year, it was a little bit different. It's more of a tag style video this year, where you have, and I have my notebook here with me, where you have prompts and you're requested to pick a book from the books that you read during the year, so during 2019, to go with these prompts. And at the point when you are watching this, I am out of town. This is the holiday season, is heavy travel season for me, so I am pre-filming this like super duper ahead of schedule. Here we go. The first principle is Umoja, which means unity, and for that prompt we are to select a book that's centered on the upliftment of African-descended people. And for that, I picked Forbidden by Beverly Jenkins. It is a historical fiction romance novel about a character. One of the characters in the novel is passing white, but he uses his affluence and stature that he is able to develop as someone who is telling everyone else that he's white to do things to uplift the African American community and the descendants of slaves or freed slaves that he comes into contact with his town. He's very active in the organizations that are in his town and allows them to meet in his place of business as a safe space where they can meet to discuss ways that they can work to advance their cause. And yeah, you have to read the story to see some other things that go on, but I thoroughly enjoyed that story, as well as Ron, who is the passing white male character, how he did things. That's how I'm going to say that. Principle number 2 is Kujichagulia, which is self-determination, and for that we're to select a book with an African-descendent LGBTQ character who inspired you because they were determined as fuck. I only read 2 books this year that I can remember. I could be wrong, but as far as I can remember, I only read 2 books this year that had LGBTQ characters that were African descended, and then one of those 2 books was a DNF. So the only one that I could really use to answer this as something that I read this year was Once Ghosted, Twice Shy by Alyssa Cole, and that is a novella where the main character is the assistant to the prince in, oh my god, A Princess in Theory. Woo! Which is the first book in her Reluctant Royals series, and Lakotsi is a gay lesbian character, and this is basically her love story, but it's also some of her, you get more of her personality. She's a very focused and determined individual, not just with her job but with some of her personal stuff, and we got to see some of the personal things that she deals with in relationship to the second chance love story in that novella, but we got to see some of that of her. So yeah. Principle number 3 is Ujima, collective work and responsibility, and for that we were to select a book with a diverse group of characters who work together towards a common goal. And for that I'm going to choose Ship of Souls by Zetta Elliott. I have to be honest in saying Ship of Souls was not one of my favorite books that I read this year. It probably wouldn't make the top 19 if I made a top 19, which I won't be doing. But what I really liked about that story is that you have these characters who are from, and it's a YA novel. Is it YA or middle grade? I think it's YA because they're in high school. But you have this group of characters who are from completely different backgrounds, and they're brought together by a set of circumstances that are not favorable for one of the characters. He needs to be tutored. He's a jock, and he's paired up with this nerd who has his own set of issues with his background and his familial situation and the stress in regards to that. And then there is another girl, a girl who's brought into the picture because I don't even remember why or how that happened. But yeah, it's a group that makes an unlikely friendship pair, and then they learn about this whole Ship of Souls thing, and it's their adventure in that, or dealing with that, to get the Ship of Souls where it's supposed to be. And it was really enjoyable. Now that I think back about it, for looking at it from that standpoint, with these three people being brought together from unlikely circumstances that you would just pair them together. They're not three people who under normal circumstances, be them children or adult, would find themselves in each other's company, and the relationship and the friendship that they build as a result of that was really nice. Principle number 4 is Ujama, which is Cooperative Economics, a book that got you thinking about sharing your economic resources. And for that, again, is Forbidden by Beverly Jenkins, for how Ron used his resources that he had available to him to support the work of the African Americans in his town and the surrounding areas, how he used what he had available to him, including his passing status, to protect them and give them a space to safely operate and do what they were trying to do to build themselves. Yeah. Number 5 is Nia, which means purpose, and that prompt is to select a book in which an African-descended character found or developed their purpose. And for that, I am going to pick A Wish After Midnight by Zetta Elliott, which is another YA novel that follows a girl who has her own ideas of what she would like to do with her life, and she goes back in time, and as a result of going back in time, she has some experiences that change her mindset as to what she thinks she ought to do and what she wants to do in relationship to some other things that and other people that she's met along the way, and how that journey back in time impacts her goal and her passion. Number 6 is Kuumba, which is creativity, and for that is a book in which an African-descended character demonstrated power through creativity. And I have 2 books for that, and I don't really know if either, because one is a short story, it's not a novel. But one is Ghost Summer by Tananarive Due, and the way the son in that story takes the passion that he has to find ghosts, and then once he finds them, to try to figure out what their story is, and the way that he attempts to prepare himself for following their story and eventually gets sucked into their story and attempts to get out. I just really enjoyed. And then the second that I have for that is Incognito by, and I can't think of the author's name. Incognito, which is a graphic novel about a passing white, or a man, an African-American man who can pass for white, who is a journalist, and he uses his ability to pass to expose the lynchings and things that are going on in the 60s, and going to those communities and interviewing white people, thinking that they're talking to another white person, to talk about the occurrence or what has happened with the lynching, and to get their unedited opinions of the situation. So yeah, those are the 2. I don't know if they really fit. I don't know how good of a job I'm doing at being an ambassador for the Kwanzaa Reflect-a-thon for this year, because I'm a mood reader and my reading has really been like all over the place this year. And then principle number 7 is Imani, which is faith, and that is a book that strengthened your faith. And for that, I have, again, 2 stories. One is a novel, a historical fiction romance novel, and the other is a collection of short stories So yeah, the first is Tempest by Beverly Jenkins, and I do have a review of that, which I will link below or in the cards. And that strengthened my faith because it has to do with the entire, number one, you have a young character who's branching out on her own to fulfill her own self-driven passion or desire that she has. And in that, you have this whole dynamic of becoming a step parent and what that is. And I have a special place in my heart for step parents, and so that just really spoke to me, and her love for the child that is in that situation and how she moves to work that child to make sure that that child does not feel excluded and makes that child important to her. That was just really, really special to me, and it just bolstered the faith that I have in people who are good people who put themselves in that position, because like when you're a step parent, you choose, that's the only time you get to choose your children. And then the other one is a set of short stories in the Ghost Summer collection that have to do with this outbreak, and I can't think, nope, not Devil's Week, but it's an outbreak collection of stories, and I'm not an outbreak person. However, the desire that the main character has in that collection of short stories to not only preserve the life of the person that she loves at the beginning of the collection, and then when you get some of her middle story, it's coming into contact with someone else. And with this whole outbreak situation, there are people who have just died, and once they show symptoms, they are dead within a few hours. But it's a painful way to go, and she comes into contact with another person as she is on a journey to try and get to a safe space with other people who are like her and immune, and she thinks that she's found this another immune person as she's making her way through, and the hope that she has in that. And then coming full circle when you get to the end of the short stories and where she ends up and the way that it ends, the hope that she has within herself that she thinks is gone, and that hope comes back because of a situation that she didn't even know happened. She finds out about it quick, fast, and then has to reconcile herself to it. And yeah, so that is the end of the Kwanzaa Reflect-a-thon video requirement for this year. If you would like to do the video, I will hopefully either type all of the prompts in the description box below or link in Njeri's video where she has them once she uploads it. She hasn't uploaded it at the point where I'm recording this video, but if she has that in her video where she's put the prompts in the description box, I will link her video in the description box below. Check that out. And yeah, that's all that I have for today. Happy Kwanzaa. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good weekend whenever you see this video. Peace out.